Today's psalm is Psalm 128 and it begins in a really wonderful way. Let me read the first verse. Blessed are all who fear the Lord and walk in his ways. So remember the word all, it's very important. Now the very short psalm, it does go on to, in a sense, address a man especially, talking about him and his family. Talks about the blessing that will be his, the blessing that will come to his property, his land, the blessing that will come to his wife and the children, and that in itself will have a knock-on effect and be a real blessing to Zion, to Jerusalem, to God's city, God's place, for God's people, and there will be peace. And it's crucial that we understand the context of this psalm. Again, it was a song of ascent, so we believe when those were in captivity, the Jews, when they were freed and they would go back up to Jerusalem for these special festivals. There were 3 key ones a year, but it might have been at other times to go and to worship. They would have sung these songs. And it's very important that we understand the Old Testament covenantal blessings, the blessings that were promised to those who feared God, those that had a real reverential respect for him, that put him first in everything. Now, back then, everyone was involved in an arranged marriage. That was society, and it still is today in a number of cultures. In fact, it was Christianity probably that was one of the first cultures that introduced this other idea of being single as well, as that was addressed in the New Testament on a number of occasions. And that was seen as something quite alien and unusual. And so when we read the verses down about this man having a blessing with his family, wife, children and so on, we've got to be very careful that we don't apply those to today and say, well, if you're a man and you don't have a wife, then you can't be blessed. If you're a couple and you don't have children, then obviously you're not being blessed of the Lord. That's certainly not true. This is addressing Old Testament people, the Jews, and the promises that there were for families. Everyone was put in an arranged family. And God said that for those that feared him, walked in his ways, he would bless them and bring peace to the city and bring great strength to the city. But for us today, we're all God's people, and we can all, whether we're single, widowed, divorced, we can know his blessing. Whether we're those who are married, with children, without children, we can know his blessing. But the key to this psalm is for those that fear the Lord. They're the ones that are going to know God's good hand of favour upon them. And let's not mix it up, favour, with necessarily being material blessings. It's primarily spiritual blessings, knowing God's joy and peace first and foremost.